This is the Pulsetto, and it's going to electrocute me in the name of science. Okay, now it's, okay, yeah. So this stimulates the vagus nerve, and that can reduce anxiety, stress, and even pain. I've been using it for a few weeks now, and I've got a lot of opinions. Just for full transparency, Pulsetto did send me this for free to review. They also offered an affiliate link, which I turned down, just because I don't believe there should be an incentive to sell a product, especially from a review. So this is going to be 100% honest and my own opinions. Now let's talk about how to use it and what it does, starting with how to use it and the right position. To find the right position, all you need to do is find your pulse, and then move your fingers slightly down, and around this area is where you want the Pulsetto to sit. Now, I didn't realize this, but apparently when doing this review, I found out that I've actually got quite a thick, girthy neck. And so for me, I need the smallest pillow that comes with the Pulsetto fit, and I also need it on the longest settings. So with that, if I then pop it on and then feel for my pulse, which is roughly there, then move down, you can see the Pulsetto fits there perfectly. And once you've got your Pulsetto in the right position, it's time to grab your lube, and you do need a conductive lube. Luckily, Pulsetto provides some, which is actually pretty good. And there's a few different ways to apply it that I've seen online. One of them was just to slather it all over your neck, so then you know there's going to be a connection, but that way you just have kind of like a sticky neck and it's kind of gross. Secondly, what I've seen, which is actually quite an interesting way, is you apply the gel to the nodes, the ball bearings, specifically on the device, and then put it on your neck. The only issue I found when testing it that way is if I did move around to find the right position for me, I then moved around the gel and it didn't have such a good connection. The best way I've personally found is if you get the gel and you pull out just a tiny pea-sized amount, like so, just a tiny amount, and then you find where your Pulsetto is once you've positioned it in the right position, pull it out, and then just rub gently around that area where the Pulsetto sits, push it back, and it's as easy as that. Then I switch to the other side, I do once again just a tiny pea-sized amount, I find the other side, roughly where it's sitting, rub up and down, just around the same sort of size as the Pulsetto device, and there it is. Then you're using a minimum amount, but the most you actually need to have that good connection is not all over your neck. And then even if you do move around slightly, it's still going to have all of the gel there to have a good connection. Now, it's much easier to do that when you have a mirror, so I do advise doing it against a mirror so you can actually see exactly where you're applying. But once you have applied, then you want to just find the button, press and hold, once again for about 5 seconds or so till it flashes and lights up, then let go. Then you want to go to your Pulsetto app. And what I'm going to do is just give you an experience live to how it feels so I can talk you through how to sort of connect it and how it works. Now, once you have gone through the process of connecting it, I found it really quick, really easy to find and connect to the Pulsetto. You do want to make sure it is fully charged. Now, when you do go into the app, there's a bunch of different sessions that you can use. So you can have a burnout session, a stress session, an anxiety session, a sleep session, a pain session, or just then you have the premium settings of personal, head pain, inflammation, gut health, things like that. I pretty much would only stick to the free sessions anyways, so I don't necessarily have a need to go for the paid for version, which is always nice that you're not forced to get the paid for version. So I'm just going to try out the pain to start with, which is a 20-minute session, so I'm not going to do all of that in this video, but all you need to do is click onto pain. Then you can select the intensity. It does give you a recommendation of intensity. So most users, it told me, are between 5 and 7. So I just went straight to 5. I have tried it on 1, and I do recommend for someone starting out, try on 1 and then work your way up. Don't try straight away on 10 because it will blow your head off, and I will demonstrate that in this video. So let's just press play on 5. So I've put my phone down. I'm just lining it up, waiting. Okay, so now it is going and I can feel my whole neck sort of contracting. And it does seem to jump from side to side. It's almost quite hard to talk, to be honest, because it's just sort of flexing all of those muscles. Some of the sessions I actually find really relaxing because where it sort of pulses on and off so quickly, it kind of feels like a massage. It really feels like there's someone's thumbs are sort of going up and down my neck like this, and it is quite relaxing. So I definitely see how the like sleep session, for instance, can be very easy at sort of calming you down and getting you ready for bed. For something like this, it is just really distracting because I'm just getting electrocuted right now in the neck. And out of 5, in terms of pain, I wouldn't say there's necessary pain, but I definitely am feeling something there, and I can't sort of think about anything else other than what's happening with my neck right now. So what I'll do, let's turn it up. So this is going to go to a 9, which is the max. Let's see. Okay, now it's, okay, yeah, it's working, okay, yeah, that's real strong. Okay, I'm gonna have to, I don't know if you can even see like my neck muscles like contracting, but it feels like they are about to burst. So I'm just gonna put that down. Oh, it's still going. Okay, it's easing off. Okay, we're back at 5. Now a 5 feels like nothing compared to what that 9 was. Holy hell, that was intense. And after use, you do need to clean it up, but luckily I have a young daughter, so I have like a million wet wipes everywhere. So all I do is get a couple of wet wipes, wipe off the gel off my neck, and then clean up the device itself. Now let's look at how it works and if it works. Short answer, it doesn't, but it kind of does. I'll explain that later on, but for now, let's look at exactly how it works. So the Pulsetto is an external vagus nerve stimulating device, and the vagus nerve is a nerve that runs all the way through your body and attaches to loads of different organs. And there's been scientific research proving that if you stimulate that nerve, it can help with anxiety, stress, depression, even pain relief. Now, there's loads of different devices out there. Some of them are actually internal. So through surgery, you can have it implanted, attached to your nerve, and stimulate the nerve to help with all of these things. That seems to be the most proven to actually work. A load of other devices are external, like the Pulsetto. Now, those are less proven. I have seen loads of different studies because there's loads of different ones around. Some of them attached to the ear, some of them on top of the head, and some of them around the neck. Now, I've seen some research on the head and the ear one to say that it's about 50-50. 50% of people say it works, and 50% of people say it doesn't. Now, I can't find any third-party testing done on the Pulsetto to tell me its effective rate, so I have to go off user reviews. And there is a ton of users that said it works for them or it works in general. I also have to go off my experiences, and like I mentioned, some cases I think it does work, but there's also quite a few cases where it doesn't. So where I think it actually works is, like I mentioned with sleep. I found the sleep session quite relaxing, and if you're relaxed when you go to sleep, you're going to sleep better. That's just, obvious. Everything else though, I'm not quite sure on. I think it's more of a placebo effect or a distraction. So when it comes to like the pain one, so if you have a pain session because you've got pain in your foot, it having an electric shock to your neck, all of your focus goes to your neck. And you do forget about your foot pain, but that's only because you're being distracted. I don't think it's actually helping any sort of way with the pain. Like I mentioned, I just think it's kind of distracting you from the pain. And in terms of stress and anxiety, it mentions on the website and through some other studies that it takes about 2 weeks to a month for it to get the full effectiveness. I think in that time, you will just become less stressful just because time has passed, or you might become less anxious because time has passed. It's very difficult to say how anxious you're going to be in a month's time or how stressed you're going to be in a month's time, because in that amount of time, you're probably going to be less stressed or less anxious about what's happening right now anyways. So this is where I think there's a placebo effect happening, where people were doing this, waiting a month, and they go, oh yeah, I do feel less stressed. But I think it's just because you're trying to be more positive and have a placebo effect that you think this is working, that after a month, you feel less stressed just in general. That being said, I have nothing against a placebo effect. If it doesn't actually really do anything, but you think it does and it makes you feel better or cures whatever you're looking for it to cure at the end, why does it matter if it is a placebo effect? If it works for you, it works for you. I just personally think this device, It's more of, like I mentioned, a distraction or a placebo. Now, of course, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm just going off my own opinions and my own thoughts. With that being said, there's a few other red flags that I've come across. Number one, both devices are always on sale. Now, loads of companies do this to make it look more attractive, but it's always a little bit of a red flag where a premium product or a, real professional product is always on sale. Little bit of a red flag, especially when in some of the text that it has on the website, it compares its price to its competitors and it's cheaper because it's on sale. But if it's always on sale, yeah, it's just a weird one. Another one is for this video, they wanted to review it before it went out. Now, I never do this. I always do the video how I want to do it. You're seeing it the same time they're seeing it, and that's always the way I'm going to do it. And that's simply because if they review it and edit it, they're pushing a narrative, and that's not an honest review, that's just an advertisement for their product. So every company that does this, I'm a little bit wary of. And this is one of them that I can't say for certain that they would edit any of this video if they chose to, but they have asked for a draft and they have asked to review it beforehand. And like I mentioned, I don't do that. And it's a little bit of a red flag. And lastly, with the affiliate links, once again, it's not necessarily a red flag because lots of other companies do it, but just the way they have pushed it for me to have an affiliate link, have a discount code, mention it in my description and mention it in the video. I've said I don't want to do that because like I mentioned, I don't think an honest reviewer would necessarily do that for a product they don't know. And so I found all of that a little bit of a red flag. And the last sort of negative that I want to mention is the cost. It's around about £300, $400, and the materials, just super cheap plastic all the way through. Nothing about it feels premium. And for the cost, I just expected a little bit more. Now, all of the money could be going on the research for the stimulating of the nerve. But like I mentioned, I don't fully buy into that. And with the product I got for £300, yes, it works in terms of it switches on and I do feel something. But other than that, it does feel quite cheap for the price. And all that put together with the other red flags, I don't know if it's the product for me. What I will say is loads of other reviewers and also users do say it's a good product and it works for them. So there are people out there that do say it worked. It just didn't really work for me. That's my thoughts and opinions. I'd love to know what you guys think of both of these down below in the comments. Have you used them? What do you think? Did they work for you? Let me know down below. I'd love to know your stories. Please like and share this video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll see you guys next time.